Welcome back to the deep dive. Imagine if you could glimpse the future, a world where our kids interact daily with digital tech.
Fascinating, yeah, but also pretty challenging. That's why today we're diving deep into something that affects us all, especially the younger generation: digital ethics, dealing with disinformation, and cyberbullying.
Yeah, it's undeniable these skills are becoming crucial, but how do we teach them effectively in a way that actually resonates with young people and isn't just, another dry school subject?
Exactly. That's the million-dollar question, and it leads us straight to today's source, the book Emma and the Virtual Turning Point. It's not your typical youth novel. It's actually a really clever way to teach media literacy and digital responsibility through a compelling story.
What makes this book stand out, I think, is that it avoids being preachy. It doesn't wag its finger. Instead, it takes readers on a journey, letting them experience the digital world's challenges through the characters' eyes. Our mission today is really to unpack how this narrative makes complex topics accessible and impactful, especially for kids. Absolutely. It's about making these often abstract ideas tangible, sort of experienceable. So let's jump in. At the heart of the story are three teens, Emma, Leo, and Mia. How do they first encounter these new digital worlds?
Well, their first brush with augmented reality and virtual reality happens in their informatics class with their teacher, Herr Bauer. He sounds like a really forward-thinking kind of educator.
Hmm.
Imagine bringing these cutting-edge technologies right into the classroom. It's a powerful start.
And how do the friends react? Was it love at first virtual sight?
Oh, definitely. The book paints a vivid picture of their initial fascination. They immediately grasp the huge potential of AR and VR for learning and creativity. Take Emma, for instance. She's completely blown away when she puts on the VR headset and steps into this virtual landscape so real she instinctively tries to touch a tree that, well, isn't actually there.
Wow, that really shows the immersion, doesn't it? A real aha moment. And what about Leo and Mia? Do they tap into the potential too?
For sure. Leo, who's more the tech-minded one, discovers a passion for programming and actually building these virtual worlds. He immediately starts messing around with the software tools the digital building blocks for creating VR environments.
Okay, so he's the builder.
Right. And Mia, she's the artistic one. She sees AR as this amazing way to blend art with everyday life. She starts projecting digital artworks onto the school walls, stuff you can only see with your phone. Imagine boring hallways suddenly becoming living galleries.
That's fantastic. Really impressive first steps. Are there other early projects that show them exploring these technologies?
Yeah, a great example is a virtual museum trip to the Louvre. The whole class gets to navigate the famous halls together, examine artworks up close, all without leaving the classroom. Emma finds this particularly amazing because she notices details she might miss in the real museum.
Makes sense.
And then the three of them actually develop a VR environment for history class. Students can dive into different historical eras, witness key events firsthand. It makes history come alive, instead of just reading about it.
That sounds incredibly engaging and motivating. But how do they run into the darker side of the digital world? That's such a big theme these days, and the book tackles it head on.
Yeah, that confrontation happens through online forums connected to some VR games they're playing. At first, Emma, Leo, and Mia are just thrilled about connecting with this global community that shares their passion for VR. But then they stumble into sections rife with cyberbullying and, frankly, really toxic behavior. It's a shock.
That's a harsh contrast to their positive AR/VR experiences. How does Emma specifically handle it? The text mentions she's particularly affected.
She's truly shaken when she witnesses a young user being relentlessly attacked in one of these forums. The anonymous, often cruel comments make her realize, on a very personal level, how nasty people can be under the cloak of internet anonymity. It's a real eye-opener for her.
And what about Leo and Mia? How do they react to this digital darkness? Are they analytical or do they want to jump into action?
Leo approaches it more analytically. He points to the anonymity in these forums as a major driver of the negativity. His thinking is, like, when people don't face immediate consequences, their inhibitions drop. Mia, on the other hand, feels this strong urge to do something. She insists they have to use their newfound skills to tackle these problems.
Right, so that's the catalyst for them using their tech skills for good, isn't it? Tell us about that.
Exactly. Together, they developed this AR app called Digital Echo. The core idea is brilliant. Make the often invisible impact of words visible in the digital space. Imagine negative comments showing up as dark clouds hovering over user avatars, while positive interactions appear as bright, friendly light.
Wow, that's a really powerful visualization. Why do you think that visual representation is so effective, especially for young people?
I think that's a key insight here. Abstract concepts like the emotional weight of online words become much more tangible and emotionally resonant for young minds when they're visualized. It shifts understanding from just intellectual to almost experiential, so they can see and feel the consequences of words.
Absolutely. And how does this project land with their classmates and teachers? Are people receptive?
The response is overwhelmingly positive. A lot of people are surprised, actually, by how strongly words can impact a virtual environment. The project gets praised as this incredibly innovative way to raise awareness about cyberbullying. And through this, the friends really grasp the double-edged nature of technology. It can be amazing, but also harmful.
So after that success, Emma, Leo, and Mia focus on cyberbullying more directly, right? Tell us about their classmate Tom's story. What happened there?
Tom is a classmate who starts receiving anonymous hurtful messages across different social media platforms. He becomes increasingly withdrawn, feeling helpless and isolated. Emma, Leo, and Mia notice his distress and decide they need to help him, but also use it as a chance to raise awareness school-wide. Their feeling is that nobody should have to go through that alone.
And how do they deploy their AR/VR skills this time? Another innovative solution.
Yes, they create a virtual program called Echoes of the Digital World. This program uses immersive experiences to really drive home the emotional impact of cyberbullying. Users can step into virtual scenarios designed to simulate the feelings of isolation, fear, and pain that victims experience. Mia uses her artistic talents here to create strong visual metaphors for these often hidden emotions.
That sounds incredibly direct, very emotional. How does Tom react to this, and what's the overall effect on the school community?
Tom is deeply moved by the experience. He finally feels understood, not alone anymore. And the presentation of the program at school has a huge impact. It genuinely opens many students' eyes to the devastating consequences of cyberbullying and sparks conversations about being more respectful and supportive, both online and off. It's portrayed as a real turning point for the school climate.
After tackling cyberbullying, the friends turn their attention to fake news, disinformation. What pushes them towards this complex issue?
Well, following the success of their cyberbullying project, Emma, Leo, and Mia realized that fake news can cause just as much harm, maybe even more widespread harm. They see how quickly baseless rumors and manipulated information spread, how they shape opinions, and even lead to real-world conflicts. They become convinced that teaching people, especially young people, to critically evaluate information is essential. You can't just blindly trust everything you see online.
And their response is the AR app Filter of Truth. How does that work exactly? What makes it special?
Filter of Truth is designed to help users assess the credibility of online information. It offers practical tips on identifying reliable sources and includes interactive tutorials on fact-checking techniques. Leo, with his growing tech skills in things like Python and data source analysis, is key here. He develops the core logic that cross-references information with curated lists of trusted sources and flags inconsistencies algorithmically.
So it's quite sophisticated.
Yeah, and Mia again brings her creative flair, designing intuitive user interfaces and clear visuals that make the fact-checking process easier for users.
And this app actually becomes a symbol of critical thinking in the digital age. Tell us more about its impact and reach.
Yes, Filter of Truth quickly gains traction within the school and is highly valued. It's more than just a tool. It represents the need for conscious, critical engagement with information online. Emma, Leo, and Mia also start running media literacy workshops beyond their school, becoming recognized as young ambassadors for responsible information consumption. The app becomes, a small but significant contribution to a more informed digital society.
Okay, the next section of the book delves into digital dilemmas. What specific ethical challenges do the friends face now after tackling these major digital issues?
Yeah, this is where it gets really tricky. They confront the difficult question of how to effectively combat harmful online content without infringing on fundamental freedom of expression. It's an incredibly complex ethical tightrope walk, something even adults grapple with constantly today.
That's a minefield indeed. How do Emma, Leo, and Mia approach this delicate problem? Do they try to form their own stance?
Emma dives deep into the concept of free speech, reading diverse perspectives from lawyers, philosophers, activists. She voices this crucial concern that well-intentioned efforts to protect people from harmful content could easily slip into censorship, and the lines are blurry. Leo suggests bringing in outside expertise. They invite academics and digital rights activists for an open dialogue at their school. These conversations really help them grasp the nuances of digital ethics and refine their own thinking.
And Mia uses her creative skills again to make this dilemma more experiential, right? How does she do that?
Exactly. She develops an interactive VR experience. It puts users into various scenarios where they have to make similar ethical choices in a digital contest. The goal is to get participants thinking about the potential consequences of their actions in these virtual situations and develop a better feel for the complexity involved. It's about fostering empathy for different viewpoints.
And how does this VR experience go over at the parents' evening where they present their projects? Does it hit the mark?
The VR experience becomes the absolute highlight. Parents and teachers are put into these scenarios, directly experiencing the outcomes of their choices in the virtual world. It sparks intense discussions and significantly deepens understanding of the digital world's complexity and the ethical questions involved. Many realize there are no easy answers here.
Moving on to the chapter, The Power of Community, Emma, Leo, and Mia establish their own online platform, Digital Harmony. What's the idea behind that?
After those revealing discussions about digital dilemmas, the friends realize that strengthening community is key to effectively countering the negative aspects of the digital world. They want to create an online platform that offers a safe, supportive space for open exchange about digital ethics, sharing personal experiences with cyberbullying and fake news, and providing mutual support.
How do they ensure this platform actually is a safe and positive space? What measures do they put in place?
Leo takes the lead here with his tech skills. He implements various security and moderation tools to maintain a positive, respectful environment and protect user privacy as much as possible. Emma focuses on the content strategy and community guidelines, while Mia designs the platform's look and feel to be inviting and user-friendly, encouraging active participation.
And does this platform grow beyond just their school? Do others find their way to Digital Harmony?
Yes, Digital Harmony quickly catches on in other schools and youth groups. It evolves into this vibrant hub for people of all ages interested in digital ethics and wanting to make a positive difference. It really demonstrates to the friends the transformative power of collective effort and the importance of creating such spaces in the digital age.
The next step, titled Virtual Visions, sees the trio develop a comprehensive virtual education program called CyberWise. What's the vision behind this?
Building on their positive experiences with Digital Harmony, Emma, Leo, and Mia recognize that solid education is the long-term solution for issues like cyberbullying and fake news. Their vision is to create a large-scale virtual education program that equips young people with the skills and critical thinking needed to navigate the complex digital world safely, responsibly, and positively.
What does this virtual learning look like in practice? What are the core elements of CyberWise?
Emma suggests leveraging the unique strengths of AR and VR for immersive, interactive learning. They imagine virtual classrooms where students from anywhere can learn together. Leo works on the tech side, building a user-friendly VR platform accessible on various devices. Mia designs vivid, realistic virtual scenarios, simulating common digital challenges to foster critical thinking, empathy, and ethical judgment. The content covers everything from data privacy to recognizing manipulative design in social media.
And this ambitious program actually gets off the ground and gains wide recognition.
Absolutely. CyberWise is eagerly anticipated and attracts participants globally. Teachers and students alike praise its innovative approach and how clearly it explains complex topics. More and more schools worldwide start adopting it, and it quickly establishes itself as a valuable, forward-looking tool in digital education.
The penultimate section describes the virtual turning point, organizing an international conference. What's the main driver for this initiative, given their projects are already so successful?
After the impressive success of CyberWise, Emma, Leo, and Mia want to scale up their efforts even further onto a truly global stage. They decide to organize an international conference on digital education and ethics. The goal is to bring together educators, students, tech experts, policymakers, and activists from around the world to share best practices and tackle future challenges together.
That sounds incredibly ambitious. What specific topics does the conference cover, and how is it managed technically and logistically to allow such broad participation?
The conference agenda is broad, covering everything from foundational digital ethics to the latest on cyberbullying and disinformation, plus complex issues like data protection and the ethical implications of AI. Leo handles the sophisticated technical setup, making the conference accessible both in person and virtually worldwide. Mia oversees the overall visual concept and designs an engaging, interactive conference environment.
Any highlights?
A key feature is the Future Zone. showcasing innovative educational technologies and promising projects. The conference culminates in participants signing a joint declaration, committing to actively promote digital ethics in their respective fields.
Finally, as the book concludes, Emma, Leo, and Mia reflect on their remarkable journey. What are the main takeaways they draw from their experiences?
They look back on their incredible path from a small school initiative to a global movement. They recognize the immense power of collaboration, the transformative potential of technology when used for good, and the profound impact of storytelling in connecting, inspiring, and motivating people to act. But they're also very aware that their work is far from over in the ever-evolving digital landscape. Continuous engagement is crucial.
And what about the new horizons mentioned in the final chapter? What future projects are the friends pursuing?
Emma launches a comprehensive mentorship program within Digital Harmony to support younger users and pass on knowledge. Leo develops an advanced AI system to personalize learning content on the platform, catering better to individual user needs. And Mia starts an inspiring project to give young artists worldwide a platform for creative works, exploring digital ethics in innovative ways. Their collective efforts continue to gain recognition from educational institutions, governments, and NGOs globally. So
Emma and the Virtual Turning Point really sounds like much more than just a fictional story for young adults. What's the core conclusion we can take away from our deep dive today?
I think the key takeaway is that this book offers an incredibly inspiring and effective narrative approach to teaching digital safety and citizenship. It masterfully makes complex, often intimidating topics accessible, understandable, and, most importantly, relevant to young people. It powerfully demonstrates that technology isn't just part of the problem. It can also be a potent tool for understanding and developing innovative solutions to the challenges of the digital age.
That's a really crucial point. It shows how you can engage young people with these vital topics without resorting to the often unmotivating traditional lecture-style approach.
Exactly. The narrative allows for a deep emotional connection with the characters and their struggles. This encourages self-reflection and fosters an intrinsic understanding of why responsible digital behavior matters, which ultimately leads to much more lasting impact.
Which brings us to the end of today's deep dive. A final thought for you, our listeners. Beyond digital ethics, where else in our complex lives could similar narrative approaches and relatable characters be equally powerful tools for learning and promoting responsible behavior? Something to think about. Thanks for listening, and join us next time on The Deep Dive.